In the last video, to be free from anxiety, we spoke about two concepts. The first one is, I do not lack a thing in the world. Second is, accepting myself. This video unfolds the concepts to apply in day-to-day life. Of course, it should help to bear the daily grind, either at work or at home. Obviously, it is not true that one does not lack a thing in the world. A person earning $1 million lacks $10 million. A person suffering from a disease lacks health. A person suffering from depression lacks recognition or love. Some lack coveted promotion. Some lack the much needed respect for their intelligence. So, how does it help? By just thinking that I do not lack a thing in the world, how does it help? Good question. Clearly, if one lacks food, clothes and shelter, it is the fundamental problem that needs to be solved. If one is lacking them, it is solvable by acquiring some skill and working. The problem is tough for those who are good to do, meaning having food, clothes and shelter. Let us get to the beginning of your time. Happy birthday, whatever be the day. You acquired form, later came to know about hands, eyes, nose, chubby cheeks, etc. After that, you acquired your name. After that, you acquired few words like papa, mama, etc. Then it goes to a spin. Knowledge of a table, bat, toys, etc. Acquired the knowledge of state, country, basic mathematics, physics, etc. Then you acquire your secondary school certificate, then plus 2, then bachelor's degree, then postgraduate, then PhD. Good. Then spouse, children, car, house, etc. While this acquisition is going on, do not forget about acquiring ointments that keep the skin glow, make one fair so that one can get a job easily. So you have been acquiring one after the other. We have been taught to acquire and acquire. If you are not convinced yet, open your TV or radio, watch out the advertisements and check out how each advertisement is telling what you need to acquire. The need to acquire surely comes from the fact that we are lacking. This lack, most of the time, if not 100%, is rooted in comparison. Surprised? Look deeply. Take any detergent ads. See how they compare against each other. Definitely, I cannot ask you not to compare. After all, you and I are living in a super competitive world. If comparison exists, jealousy, envy, fear, vanity are bound to exist. So what is the way out? The way out is, if you feel jealousy, envy or feeling of lacking something, start teaching to yourself that I do not lack a thing in the world. It's a tough battle. Everything you do for entertainment is going to teach you to acquire. Everything you do for living is going to teach you to acquire. And now I am trying to teach the opposite concept to oneself. In the beginning, it will be hard, but there will be a time when you start feeling complete without possessing a single thing. But you have to be persistent in teaching yourself that I do not lack a thing in the world. It has to be digested. It has to be in nerves and veins. As a precursor, I advise you to start living with minimal things. This basically means if you have a need to commute and can afford an expensive car versus safety plus economical car, go for economical car. Note that 1 brings 2, 2 brings 3, etc. How? Once you have an expensive car, you have to buy a nameplate which matches the car status. Then you may have to up-level the car cleanliness, constantly worry about someone scratching the car, etc. If you like to eat samosa versus eating a Goa, go for Goa without second thoughts. I understand it will not be as tasty as samosa, but it keeps you healthy. Have a choice between low paid job versus high paid job. Go for high paid job, but still live with a salary of the low paid job. The second concept we discussed is accept myself or accept oneself. What does it mean? If you accept yourself, will there be a change at all? How can it bring freedom? By the way, accepting oneself is not easy. As an example, let's say you saw your friend buying an expensive car. He shows that to you. You may feel jealous inside. Then you get this thought that you should not feel jealous of your friend's success. Subsequently, the conversation could be like this: am I really a good friend? Why is this feeling of jealousy coming to me? How do I stop it? I am a good person, but in spite of me being a good person, why did I get this negative emotion? Look at the dialogue happening. You are continuously condemning yourself and trying to assert that you are a good person. Accepting that you felt jealous totally ends the matter there. The feeling was real. There is nothing you can do to change it. The conflict can be avoided if you start accepting yourself as you are. Let's take another case. You did very badly in the meeting. You spoke one of the most fundamental things incorrectly. There was loss of respect. Colleagues are looking low on you. You go home. You start discussing with yourself like this: I should not have spoken like that. Why did I why did I do this? What was running in my mind? Is it because of that person? Is it because of my rush to stay ahead of others? After a while, this should not have happened. I should not have done that. The feeling of lowness is not going. What should I do? This is the conflict I am pointing to. You can be free from this conflict provided if you fully accept that you did a mistake and feeling low is unavoidable. Then, how is this related to anxiety? As we keep condemning ourselves, we get into a state to avoid this conflict. And since we never want to get to a state of conflict, we want to be more careful. Now, for the next meeting or the next endeavor you are up to, you start thinking like, how can I avoid the conflict? How can I make sure that I never get into a state of loss of respect? How can I make sure that I am super successful in that event? And these things build anxiety. So it's a vicious circle. When you start accepting yourself, freedom begins. Then it brings the question on how you can make a change. Have you ever seen a pond bottom with mud floating? When the mud settles, the depth of the pond is clearly visible. When you accept yourself totally, thoughts subside. Basically, the mud settles down or the conflict settles down. Then you can start seeing the real problem as it is. Surely, when you see a problem clearly, and if there exists an action that is doable, the very seeing brings the action. There begins the change. Before I sign off, note that all concepts, no matter who says or who preach, are divisive in nature. Knowledge by its definition is divisive. Hence, it is never complete. However, concepts do help in the beginning, and it takes time to come out from the clutches of the knowledge. Stay tuned.